Howdy friendos, my name is Stuart and welcome to part 3 of our look into Project Mouthwash's Fate Abridged series. Last week we covered the much beloved Saber, and this week we take a look at Emiya Shirou, the milquetoast main character of this much beloved series. Also, I mentioned this in my Archer video, but this series of videos will be extremely spoiler heavy, and I will not be making any attempt to guard from them because Project Mouthwash's Abridged series are best enjoyed with as much Fate knowledge as possible, especially the visual novel, which admittedly I haven't read since high school, but it was actually very important to me growing up, and I'll mention that more in my Rin Tosaka video next week. But that's for later. Shirou was an average child living in Japan when 10 years ago his home was suddenly made past tense by the actions of the mages in the last Holy Grail War. He was found and adopted by Kiritsugu Emiya, who brought him to live with him. In the present day, and at the beginning of episode 0, Shirou is caught up in the 5th Holy Grail War, a battle royale between a bunch of powerful mage families and the legendary heroes they summon in order to be the last man standing. They also get a magic cup that grants wishes and a chicken dinner. One thing that you should know about Shirou is that he was trained as a magus. Sort of. Because he's the adopted son of Kiritsugu, he doesn't get to inherit his papa's family crest. There's a lot of lore here. Just know that Shirou is really the biggest underdog of the story and not really able to do any of the magic nonsense that the others can do, but instead does this projection magic that he really shouldn't be able to pull off. While the other mages are pretty much fighting with the magical equivalent of AK-47s, Shirou is actually pulling rabbits out of a hat, which may not be very useful, but he does manage to impress his high school crush with this jank-ass bullshit. Especially in season 2, where he basically gets to fight the final boss, who is made out of carrots. Just roll with it. Either way, Shirou begins all of the Fate timelines as an idealist who wants to become a hero. He's kind-hearted and hardworking, but is a naive fool. His alignment begins at lawful good, which is especially helpful since he summons a servant who is the epitome of that alignment. Just pretend that Mordred doesn't exist for now.
See that? That's a thing you said.
But with all that out of the way, let's go.
You know what, Lancer? I've got a whole can of Not Your Business with your name on it.
So, like, the can is my business, but not what's inside the can.
Did I fall asleep fixing literally everything I can get my hands on again?
Sudden thought, Shirou. What if you didn't pick up trash around the neighborhood and didn't try to fix said trash?
But pipes are so useful. Literally everything has a pipe somewhere, probably.
In episode 1, we meet Shirou Emiya and learn that he loves to fix things. Thanks to his magecraft's power, he's also really good at it. Too bad his powers won't fix his social skills. That would require having social skills in the first place. Anyway, we'll go with a lawful good in this scene because he's fixing the classroom heater without asking for anything in return.
No, I didn't hit Sakura.
Good.
I just smacked her a bunch and she bruised.
What the hell kind of distinction did you just make?
The next morning, Shirou is hanging out with Sakura and notices a bruise on her hand. He learns that her brother Shinji has hit her. Shirou confronts Shinji at school, but gets distracted when Shinji asks him for a favor, and Shirou is unfortunately incapable of turning down any request. Unfortunately, by the time he was done and ready to deliver some justice, he encounters a servant fight, and Shirou gets killed by Lancer. Regarding Shirou threatening to beat up Shinji in the name of justice, I'm gonna go with chaotic good, especially because he wasn't asked.
Those guys must have been mages, right? I wonder if my dad ever saw mages like that.
Oh, you're a mage!
Huh?
Get dead!
Thanks to the life-saving magecraft of his classmate Rin Tosaka, best girl, see you next week, Shirou is basically resurrected after being stabbed by Lancer. But his memory is a little foggy and he doesn't know who saved him. He keeps the mana necklace that was left on the ground when he wakes up. That will be important later. Unfortunately, Lancer tracks down Shirou and tries to kill him a second time. When all hope seems lost, he unintentionally summons Saber, who scares Lancer away. Once Lancer leaves, Saber leaves without any explanation and tries to kill both Rin and Archer. Shirou intervenes, accidentally using one of his command seals to stop Saber, and beginning the Unlimited Bladeworks route. We're gonna go with a lawful good for this.
Give me Saber!
But who is Saber? And who are those red and blue guys? And why is the red one on my roof?
The thing you need to understand, Shirou, is give me
Wanting to ask questions now and fight later, Rin, Shirou, and Saber all sit down to discuss what Shirou's role will be in the upcoming Holy Grail War. Rin tries to talk Shirou into giving control of Saber over to him, but Shirou wants a second opinion. Rin brings him to a priest who sort of plays referee for the Holy Grail War. Roll with it. Rin does this in the hopes that the priest will change Shirou's mind. Unfortunately, once Kodomine figures out who Shirou is, he then just encourages him to participate, which Shirou does. He will then keep Saber for now. Leaving the church, Rin and Shirou are ambushed by Ilya von Eisenberg, I'm sure I said that name wrong, and her berserker servant. Working together, they scare off Ilya and her servant with a bit of a nuke help from Archer, who nearly kills him. For working with Rin to fight off Ilya, we're gonna go with lawful good.
I fixed you because Saber said said if you died from a wound Archer dealt you, she'd rather die than form a contract with me.
I owe you my life, Rin.
Yeah, like twice.
With Shirou dying, Saber uses her Riz to convince Rin to save Shirou. After he recovers, Saber gives Shirou a very abridged rundown of the Holy Grail War. Haha, get it? It's a joke. The next day, Rin tries to kill Shirou because Shirou is actually being kind of an idiot here. Even in the original visual novel and in the Fate Path, this is some dumbass decisions. Chaotic neutral for all this.
What is your problem with me? No vague snide remarks.
It's probably your face.
You are just...
After Shirou and Ren form a truce, Archer follows him home in order to provoke him. Rather than letting it bother him, Shirou attempts to befriend Archer despite the incessant insults. Archer continues this antics until Shirou plays ball, throwing out some insults of his own. Archer calls him stupid and leaves. This scene is basically playground trash talk, so I'm gonna give Shirou a disingenuous chaotic neutral.
No, I can't just sit here all day, every day, waiting for you to come home dead.
I wouldn't come home dead. I'd be dead.
Don't be smart with me, Shirou.
You're clearly a talented swordswoman. Swordsman. Why don't you trade me?
Before Shirou arrives at his house, Archer pays Saber a visit to tell her all about the death Shirou almost got from 2 dings ago. When Shirou arrives home, she lectures him on safety, but rather than have Saber follow him around like a bodyguard like he should, he instead asks to learn swordsmanship from her. Learning how to block attacks from a supernatural being with the powers of gods will surely work out, but it does seem to put Saber's mind at ease, so let's go with lawful good, I guess.
Us in a library doing magic kind of makes me feel like you're the Ron Weasley to my Hermione.
Ron and Hermione? How much of Harry Potter have you read?
First 4 books. Why? Does one kill the other later?
Don't worry about it.
Returning to school, Shirou helps Rin disable some of the Isaac McDougal transmutation circles. Both Rin and Shirou are doing this to both save lives and to prevent another servant from gaining a lot of mana. We're gonna go with neutral good.
Why do you want me?
I don't want you.
Then you must want... you want Saber, don't you?
That night, Shirou is kidnapped and asleep by Caster. Before Caster can use her magic to take Shirou's command seals and gain control of Saber, Archer interrupts. He calls a temporary ceasefire with Caster and she magic warps away. With nobody to stop him, Archer attempts to kill Shirou. Fortunately, Saber is nearby and protects Shirou from him. Shirou didn't have a lot of agency during this scene, but he does try to punch Archer for the mockery, and again, he's being kind of stupid in front of him. Chaotic neutral.
I know what Archer tried to do to you. You think I'm dumb enough not to expect revenge? Do I look dumb to you? Hit me, Nanoid!
The following day at school, Ren is ready for Shirou to confront and blame her for Archer's attempt on his life. Shirou is surprisingly understanding, and there's no hard feelings between the two. Moving on, they brainstorm ways to take out the other servants and masters, but their idea session is interrupted by Ryder, who summons her noble phantasm to melt people. Shirou summons Saber to help them defeat Ryder, but too bad somebody already else beat them to the punch, wasting his command seal. Lawful good for trying to save everybody at the school.
I actually don't know his name.
Are you serious?
Rin interrogates Shinji, Ryder's master, who doesn't know who killed her. Archer pops in and deduces that it's Kazuki. Rin and Archer get into a fight, which she eventually backpedals and apologizes, and I'm just gonna give Shirou a neutral good for being a decent person and also trying to be a peacekeeper.
Operation Murder Kazuki first, ask Kazuki's corpse questions later is our highest priority.
I just feel like we have forgotten something.
In episode 6, the gang are hiding out in an abandoned gas station in order to ambush a homebound Kazuki. They jump him, but not even Saber stands a fighting chance against the drama teacher because he's a highly skilled assassin who's being boosted by Caster. After Shirou accidentally creates noble phantasms during the fight, Kazuki decides to peace out and give them his respects. Even though they are trying to kill Caster and Kazuki in this scene, it is part of the Holy Grail War, and they made sure to go to a place where innocent bystanders wouldn't get hurt, so I'm gonna go with a lawful good here.
You know that feeling you get when you remember something embarrassing you did when you were younger and you freeze up? I got that 10 times over the other night. I guess that was you.
After an unsuccessful fight with Kazuki, Shirou's magecraft seems to be goofing up. All sorts of random weaknesses and pain are happening throughout the day. Moping in his pipe shed, Saber comes to cheer him up. They are then shortly joined by Archer, who offers to fix Shirou's magical abilities. Shirou responds by sort of apologizing to Archer for not respecting his battle-hardened opinions about saving everyone. Anyway, Shirou trying to extend goodwill towards Archer and being kind enough to forget this humiliating experience for him.
Mr. Shirou, big tough muscle man. Would it be okay if little old me moseyed on over there?
And he tries to be friends, so we're gonna go with neutral good here.
Oh, sorry, did I not tell you?
I'm living here now.
No, you're not.
So's Archer.
No, he's not.
And I'm sharing a room with Saber
Go on.
and a bed with Saber.
You may stay.
Shirou simply allows Rin to take over his home, because Yuri interests. Neutral.
I'm not normally one to enforce gender roles or anything, Shirou. So when I say you're gonna be carrying all our stuff, I hope you know it's not because you're a guy. It's because you're Shirou Emiya.
The next day, Shirou has the privilege of accompanying Saber and Rin on their date. In the visual novel, he was taking both of them out. Based. The date is simply a ploy to entice Caster to initiate another fight. This works, but Caster is holding one of Shirou's teachers hostage in exchange for control over Saber. Shirou gives up control of Saber, and Caster has her stab Shirou. Archer shows up late to the party, but buys Rin and Shirou enough time to get away. I'm going to go with neutral for helping bait out Caster, and then chaotic good for giving up Saber to save his teacher.
Saber's gone and I got stabbed. Oh, why aren't I healing? Every time I've been almost killed since the war, I've just long rested my way to victory.
Waking up in Rin's house with a giant hole in its chest, Shirou finds a necklace just like the one found in episode 1. He deduces that Rin is the person who saved him in the first time that he pretty much died. Finding Rin and Archer on the rooftop, Rin then kicks Shirou off of Team Fate, and he begs to stay with her. Rin says no because she likes Shirou and doesn't want to see him die again. Since Shirou wants to save Saber, even though Rin's not letting him, I'm going to go with lawful good. Shirou gets a lot of great character development in the Abridged series, as well as the series proper, although admittedly in the Abridged series, a lot of it is coming at the tail end of season 1. The Unlimited Bladeworks timeline takes his childish dream of wanting to become a hero and completely turns it on its head and shows just how foolish it actually is. A lot of people really dislike the Fate timeline, the one where he gets together with Saber, yours truly included. The Fate visual novel, despite being a vehicle for a high-octane anime nonsense, is actually a great character study on the nature of heroism and what great people value and what it means to be a great hero. Since we know from Archer that Shirou does eventually become a powerful person capable of saving everyone, he's just jaded, bitter, and realizes that he's wasted his life doing so. And even though it won't be revealed to Shirou until season 2, we can see that especially in Project Mouthwash's Abridged series, there are cracks in his logic that he's beginning to understand. Also, this is a thing that next season does, but I really appreciate that Logan and his team give Shirou a bunch of big wins in the next upcoming episodes after season 1. I'll watch it again when they complete the season, but I think giving this a goated Abridged series award might actually be warranted. I have every confidence that they're going to stick the landing when that day comes, but come back next week as we take a look at Best Girl and unironically my favorite waifu ever, Rin Tosaka. Pledge to the Setting Guide to Redia. Thank you to the patrons, and I'll see you all next time.